Hi everyone, I'm Father Derek Peterman from Our Lady of Sorrows, and welcome again to our second video in our Lenten prayer series, where each week we'll be talking about a different form of prayer, helping you to learn a little bit more about maybe kinds of prayer that you aren't familiar with, or diving deeper into those forms of prayer that you do already know. This week we're going to talk about praise and worship and adoration, and these forms of communal prayer where people come together to offer worship to God. First, praise and worship. In praise and worship, you often see it with music and people coming together to give God praise and to pray together. And praise is to speak well of someone, to speak well of what they've done or who they are. And who better to do that for than God Himself, who not only is perfectly good, but has done such amazing things for us that He deserves our praise. And this actually brings us to the word worship. Worship actually comes from worth-ship, meaning that the person we worship is worth our praise, worthy of our praise. And so when we offer praise and worship to God, we're saying, God, you deserve everything that I have and everything that I can give because you are so good and you have done so many amazing things for me. You deserve to receive everything back from me. And so in praise and worship, that's what we do. We come to God to lift our minds and our hearts to Him, offering Him ourselves, our song, our voices, and our hearts because He deserves it. Secondly, we have adoration. And a lot of times, adoration is done in front of the presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. And this often is mixed with praise and worship. So you might have the Jesus exposed in the Eucharist on the altar with some praise and worship music, helping people to enter into that mode of praise and worship, offering to God their praise and their worship. But with adoration, there's a little bit more to that. Because to adore someone is to recognize who they are and their goodness, similar to the praise and worship. But with adoration, especially adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, it's a special connection with God, where we offer to Him our prayers, and it's more of a being in His presence. So I just want to read to you one short passage from the Gospel of Matthew where He talks about adoring Jesus. This is where Jesus is walking on the water and He calls Peter to follow Him. Afterwards, when the apostles are in the boat and Jesus comes into the boat, they're all just amazed at what happened. And this is what it says. And they that were in the boat came and adored Him, saying, Indeed, you are the Son of God. I think this is a great pattern for what we do at adoration. First, we come to Jesus, and then we kneel down and adore Him, saying, Truly, you are God. You are the Son of God. And that's really all that it takes for praise and worship, is just acknowledging God and coming before Him to give Him our prayer, our praise, and just to be with Him. And some people might wonder, okay, with praise and worship, you have some music to help you pray, to enter into that time of adoration and praise and worship. The music or the prayers, the words can kind of help, again, raise your mind and heart to God. But what about in that time of silence? Maybe you come to the church during a time of adoration when Jesus is exposed in the monstrance on the altar, or you just come to the church and want to adore Jesus who's there present in the tabernacle. What do you do then? Of course, you can offer just a simple prayer of praise and worship to God, saying, Thank you, God, for all that you've done for me and for being who you are in my life. But it's also good just to be there in the silence. There's a great story with St. John Vianney, who is patron saint of priests and an amazing saint. But he noticed in his small village that there was this simple, poor, humble farmer who would go to the church all the time and spend hours there after his day working in the fields. And St. John Vianney was so amazed at this man's faith and his piety, going to the church to worship, to adore the Lord in the tabernacle. And so St. John Vianney asked the man, what do you say in that time? What do you say to God? And the man replied, I don't say anything. I look at Him and He looks at me. And it's okay to be quiet before the Lord, to not even say anything, and don't worry about what to say. What is important is that you are there with Jesus, the Jesus who loves you, who died for you to save you. And then you just sit there and look at him and allow him to look at you. And that gaze of Jesus on our hearts is so healing, so peaceful. And in the world when it's so crazy right now, you got stress with work and school and kids and all that, sometimes we need to just be in front of the Lord and allow him to look at us and then to look at him. We have some opportunities to do these things, to offer praise and worship to God, or just to come to adore him here at Our Lady of Sorrows and nearby. Nearby at the Monastery of the Blessed Sacrament, up on Middle Belt Road, just north of 13 Mile, they have perpetual adoration. So Jesus is always there, waiting for you to come and adore him. Also at St. Thomas Chaldean Church, up on Maple Road, a little bit further north of that, they have a perpetual adoration chapel in the back of the parking lot. Again, where Jesus is always available for you to come and offer him that worship so that he can give you that peace and that comfort. And then here at Our Lady of Sorrows, we'll offer some opportunities for you to enter in these kinds of prayer as well. First, every Friday from noon to 7 p.m., we have Jesus exposed in the Blessed Sacrament so that you can look on him and allow him to look at you. In the church, it's nice and quiet, it's peaceful, and Jesus is there waiting for you to come and adore him. And then on Wednesday, March 11th, from 7 to 8 p.m., we'll be offering a praise and worship hour where you can come and adore Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, but also lift up your heart and your mind, your soul with the members from our parish community to God in song and prayer. We'll have some great musicians here to help you do that. And it's a great time to come together as a parish community and offer God your adoration, your praise, and your worship. We hope to see you there at these opportunities at Our Lady of Sorrows and nearby. These opportunities to grow in your relationship with Jesus, to adore him because he deserves it, and in adoring him, allow him to transform your heart. Because that's what it's about. Giving God the worship he deserves, and in doing that, allowing him to transform you. I hope you have a blessed Lent and continue to grow deeper in this form of prayer, and maybe explore some other forms of prayer that we'll talk about in the upcoming weeks. God bless.